All right, good evening and welcome to another installation of JAE Consulting Fantastic 5 Interviews. My name is Ernesto Rodriguez, and our objective here at JAE Consulting is to educate, inspire, and motivate the next generation of entrepreneurs, leaders, and even just anybody who's interested in gaining knowledge. My guest tonight is Mr. Raynald Blackwell. He comes to us via the youth development programs. And Blackwell, those who are not familiar with you, your background, just briefly share with them a little bit about you and your background.
Well, it's not long, but good afternoon, and thank you for having me, first of all. But my background is simply 20 something years military experience. The bulk of it with the District of Columbia National Guard. That's where I got a simple life. I really went in the military at 18. That's where most of my life experience comes from, education comes from, military schools, things of that nature. But when I got into the District of Columbia National Guard back in 1984 is when I got my first, well, actually in 83, but in 84 is when I got my first experience in working with youth programs. And that's what the District of Columbia National Guard oldest community support program is, the DC National Guard Youth Leaders Camp. That's how I got connected. Somehow from that start, working with young people 2 weeks every summer during this summer camp, whatever got me connected and found the passion for trying to inspire them and helping them grow. So my background led there into from 84 up until this year, March. Going from working with the camp, being the director of the Youth Leaders Camp, and then moving into the Youth Challenge Program, a youth programs coordinator, working with a couple other youth programs. But then I just got really involved and found my purpose, if you will, and working with young people and helping them grow. So my background is just a very simple one, simple life. There's some things that I think most people would say things could have been different, right?
Yeah, right, of course.
But I think they would what they were meant to be. I mean, that they made me who I am, and it gave me the opportunity to work with young people. So
I know you're being modest, man. That is a big thing you've done. I mean, to me, it just shows that you've lived a life of service to our community and to our youth. So thank you so much for that. So I don't have to ask that first question, what made you get into it, because you kind of fell into it early in your life and that's all you've been working with. So I just kind of go into the next question then. So it's been a long time, since 1983 to, I mean, almost 30 years, right? So I'm seeing a lot of changes, and trends happening throughout the years. Kids come, kids go. Some things you may have seen that remain the same. I just want to get your perspective on that. What changes and trends have you seen throughout the years in youth development?
wow, in youth development, I mean, the biggest change has to do with mental health.
Sure.
The kids they have a lot more trauma, if you will. And the youth development, the people in youth development work are realizing you have to be trauma informed. Back in the 80s when I was working with the young people, I mean, you identify some things, but it wasn't as severe, if you will. It wasn't as obvious. It seemed like the young people were a little bit, the family structure was a little different in the 80s, even in it, but then things started changing in the 90s, I think. Yeah. But then as we, prior to my leaving, I saw the change from the 90s, the early 2000s and up, where you're having more kids on medication, who suffer from depression, anxiety, traumas of all sorts. And then we start learning, from our soldiers in the military aspect, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Well, the young people are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, from the trauma that they experienced at home, domestic violence, community violence, just the things that's going on in the schools and how society has changed. I think be honest with you, we need to have more therapists, more therapy, more opportunities for kids to have someone, a professional to talk to help solve this problem. So when you
Built
talk
into the
about,
program, you mean?
huh?
You mean like built into the program?
And to any program, you have you know, challenge program would always say years ago, one of the things that was written in document that it wasn't intended to be therapeutic, so we couldn't provide therapeutic. You have to. If you're going to work with youth, you have to have a therapeutic component, because you're going to
Absolutely.
find yourself hearing stories
Yep.
from
Yep.
young people that would tear you up. And you have to have an answer for it, because you can't help them. When you have that young person, when you have that young lady that tells you that they were sexually assaulted, nothing's been done. Or that young man that had a friend die in their hands, you know, in their arms on the street from gun violence. How do you handle that? You know, we have to be, and what our society does, right, which is so sad. The answer is medication.
That is sad, and that's the number one thing they automatically go to.
Medication. It's just medicated.
Big industry.
Yep, medicated. Just medicated. You need therapy, and the young people know that. You know, they're angry. They're anger, and I was told by one of our a psychiatrist a therapist told me I was referring to the old term is displaced anger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to learn that it's displaced pain. Hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
And so what I would share to anybody who's venturing into youth development or working with youth, and youth are considered up to age 24, and you have to have some resources to get them some help so that they can heal. They can clean up the mess that's inside.
At least begin the process of healing first.
Yeah, because if they don't identify, because some of them don't even know what the issue is.
Right.
And all the work that you put into whatever we're working with them, we're trying to prepare them for something,
That's right.
Resume writing, interviewing techniques, and all those different things. All that's great, but if they don't clean up their internal mess, it just falls apart. So
that's interesting you said that. And which brings me to the next two questions. Then what would you say makes for the best kind of person to do this kind of work? And the follow-up to that piece is, how do you best serve those clients, right? What makes for the best person to be working with kids, and how do you best serve those kids?
Well, let's say some people will say, yeah, the best person, I always look at a person who can definitely not sympathize, but empathize with them, one.
There's a big difference.
But they have to, they can't do it for money. They got to be wanting to do it because they realize it's a purpose, right? If they can identify that this is their purpose and they're willing to share and they're going to be genuine, right? Then it works. You can't be fake. You can't go in there feeling sorry for them. And once they pick up that you're only doing it for the money, you never get through.
Get it? You lost them. That's right.
Yeah, they look at you and say you're just here for the money. So you got to be willing to put in the time that it takes. And that time, it's not going to be 8 hours a day. It could be longer, because these young people, once they know that you can't lie to them. But you always got to be honest and candid with them.
That's right.
Honest and candid. So the right person for the job, again, is the person. You don't necessarily have to have gone through those experiences and all honesty, a lot of the staff that I had that worked with, we talked about it many times. We look at it. I know soldiers who haven't experienced as much death as these young people have in their community.
Facts. That's right.
Walking home, somebody's shot and killed, dodging bullets all the time. You live in fear. So a person who you got to be genuine. You don't jump into anything doing what you can't be doing. Well, I want to try to make a quick buck.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, these young people eat you alive. Yeah. And you do them They would say they eat you alive, but you'll be doing it injustice to the community.
The service to our community, absolutely.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I'm going to skip the next question because you kind of answered that. You know, what advice would you give someone coming into the field? And you just shared so much, and those are all so relevant, timely as well. So this brings me to my last questions then. If you were to, if you're able to pass on 3 principles to the next generation for succeeding in life, work, or business, what 3 principles will those be, and why will you pick those 3?
I think what I've learned is, if anything, identify, what I want to say, try to live it on purpose, right? Bishop T.D. Jakes said this.
Yes. Yes.
When you live it on purpose, you're no longer chasing money, money's chasing you.
There you go.
So if you can identify your purpose, and that means doing something that you love, doing something that you're passionate about. And that's a hard thing to do because it takes people years to find out what their purpose is.
What they really love.
Right. Yeah, and somebody said you can take just sit down and start writing things, a list. And when you get to that thing that fills you up, that gets you emotional, then that's probably your purpose. So don't take on, and it's okay to take on a job, right? Because you got to fund your passion, right?
Right.
But find your passion, if whatever it is, and that's what I used to tell young people: find what are you passionate about? And if you're passionate about it, then you got to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah, right? Tell them, just find your tag, find out what your talents, abilities, and gifts are, and just run with it.
And if you, because like I say, we all have our own gifts.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm spiritual in that sense, is that God's given everybody a different gift. Not everybody can be a doctor. Not everybody can be a pilot. Not everybody can be a carpenter. I know people can't. They can't hammer a nail to save their life, but that's not their purpose. But they can grow vegetables.
Yep. Right.
They can sing.
All become part of the community all together.
They have a purpose.
Together. Everybody.
I can't sing to save my life. I like music, but I ain't gonna make no money. Huh? And that's what I tell you, young people want to be rappers or whatever. But the kids, I think my thing would be is like it's hard to get that answer, but you gotta do something that you love, and if you have a dream, you go for it. I steal things from other people. Steve, my going into this new work I'm doing is like it's like Steve, it's like you gotta jump, right?
Yes.
You gotta jump.
Yep.
You can't be afraid. And I'm preaching to the choir because you're doing so many different things, but you can't be afraid to do something, right? And if I could share with anybody, if you have something inside that you want to do, then do the research and do it. Yep. Don't keep putting it off. Don't let people talk you out of it. Do it. And you might fail. Yep. But you can get back up and you can try again or do something else.
And that's interesting. I know that's your second one. You have one more to go, but I have to say this, and this is something I learned from the military, and you can subscribe to this. We go to the firing range, you get a brand new weapon. And that's in essence, whatever business idea that you want to do. You talk about jump. Well, the first thing you want to take that, you want to zero that weapon, you got to shoot 3 shots first. You don't make no adjustments. You see where the bullets land first, then you make adjustment. But you got to take the first shot.
Yep.
You got to jump. So definitely, man. All right, so one more before we go.
What's the? I got one. On that. What else I would? Oh,
yeah. What one more principle you lead to the next generation for succeeding in life, on the job, in business, as a youth development person, even a truck driver?
I'd be, again, for me, then I would go with my main one, and that's faith, belief. Believe in whatever way you want to go, but you got to believe that we are here to serve. Our gifts, that we're given are not for us. They're for other people.
Right.
No one's on this earth to serve themselves. Everybody has a role, and be thankful for every day. And the new work that I'm doing every morning when I run my routes, because I can, the way we operate, I know where I need to be. I know what time I would like to start.
Right.
But when I'm able to drive early in the morning and can watch the sun come up over the horizon, be it in the Midwest, it's gorgeous, be it here on the East Coast where it's coming over the mountain.
Yeah.
It lets me know that God given me another opportunity to serve.
It's beautiful.
It gives me another day. Every day I get to see that sunrise. I think about that and I'm thankful for that. So for anyone, just be thankful for each day. Understand that whatever your talent is, it's not for you. It's for you to serve others. And that's very important. We have to be willing, and we got to teach that to our young people, right? If you sing, that's not for you. You're singing it to make me happy.
That's right.
And
That's
if
right.
and it's as simple as that. So if you're gonna have that talent, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the close, and I have to say thank you for sharing, man, your gifts and your talents with my audience. I really appreciate you, man. It means a lot to me. Me and you go way back. So to have you in this forum, just to even talk with you on that level, brings my joy to my heart. So thank you so much, Blackwell. I appreciate you, man. Again, my name is Ernesto Rodriguez, Chief Consultant for JAE Consultant. My special guest this evening, Raynald Blackwell. One last thing before you go, if you want to share anything before we go, Blackwell. I know you're starting your business on the side with driving tractor trailers. If anybody's interested in learning more about that, maybe they want to reach to you, how can they get in touch with you?
But they can just hit me up on Facebook. Is probably the best way. I don't know. I know everybody's going to talk about Instagram.
That's for the young folks, right?
Yes, dude. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I get beat up on that all the time. But Facebook is all I got. I don't do all the other ones. But if you want, you follow me on Facebook. It's just my name, Raynald Blackwell. But they can hit me up through Messenger, and if they got questions, if anybody's interested in what does it take to get out there and the lifestyle as what you call professional driver, it's definitely something that if you like being out there and you like operating equipment, you like being by yourself, then yeah, it's the world. It's a good world. It's a good life. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing, Blackwell.
All right.
Ernesto Rodriguez, JAE Consultant, taking you from here to there. Until next episode, thank y'all and have a great night. Bye-bye.